guess this is how the podcast started. I never really tell the guests when it's starting or how it starts. We kind of just, it happens. Do you want to tell everybody who you are, your name, what you do?
Yeah, my name is Beelzebub Balthazar, or Eliy Orcko, and I am a entrepreneur, a hip-hop artist, a jazz artist, an overall creative, and agent of chaos.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did you first start playing music or singing or producing?
Like 13, I joined my first band, and then that carried on for a while, so yeah. And then life, but yeah, 13, I was in like a punk band, like way back in the day.
Punk band, huh?
Yeah, I started out in punk music. A lot of people, like in Cleveland, a lot of people know this, but like, yeah, like as I like go outside of Ohio as an artist, is like kind of shocks people, I guess, sometimes.
Were you born and raised in Cleveland?
I was born in Elyria. I was raised in South Florida in Coral Springs.
Where were you born?
Coral Springs, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Same town as Newfound Glory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting fact. And then you moved up to Cleveland?
Recently, yeah.
Recently?
Yeah.
So where were you in your youth? What area?
Define youth.
All right, where have all the places
My
you've
teens?
lived?
All right, so I've lived in Florida, like all over the place in Florida. I've lived in Texas, LA, Sacramento, San Diego, for a little bit of San Diego. San Diego and like LA kind of blend together for me. But because like it started in San Diego because I was like in Texas, and then I was like gonna go to San Diego because I always wanted to go to California. And then like worked my way doing security for this one band into LA. And yeah. Just,
Why so many places?
My friend Casey specifically puts it, I was like a vagabond for the longest time. So I was just like, I was just sad. And like, me and my childhood girlfriend had like split up like till I was about like 22. That's when that really, so like from 7th grade to like 22.
You were living in these different places at that time?
No, I was just in that bubble of like I'm gonna do like the family thing.
And you're in Florida at this time?
Yeah, I had like my parents had split when I was like 16, so we did like the long distance thing, and then I did like what I did to make money for about 2 years, and then I moved down to Florida and like tried to get myself together to do that, and then that lasted about a couple years. Yeah.
What do you mean? I did what I did to have to make money.
I like worked jobs, and I used what was available to me to make money.
I love how vague you're being.
Oh,
very vague. I'm not going to pry if you don't want to.
No, you're good.
I could only assume.
Yeah.
I wasn't born yesterday.
No, I'm resourceful. I mean, it's a big thing in like my brand. I use what I can to get ahead, and I try to do my best to progress and grow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so how old were you when you were moving around these different cities?
I was like 22. The first time I left, because we had like went on a break, and I went to California for the first time then, and that's where that started. And then I came back, and I moved to Tampa, and we were like working on it, and then that fell apart, and then I moved to Cleveland. So yeah, like 22, and then like my mid-20s, or I guess I'm still in my mid-20s.
How old are you?
I'm in my late 20s now.
Why do people have such a hard time saying how old?
No, it's not that. It's just like it's an ongoing joke. It's an ongoing joke. Yeah, like
so you're
like,
27.
Something like that.
I'm 31.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying how old I am.
I have no problem saying how old I am. I'm just being recorded, and I like troll people with it. So,
okay,
yeah.
I feel you. That's fun. And so, about half your life, you've been playing music or pursuing it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And do you play any instruments, or do you just sing?
I don't think I can like accurately play anything without seeing someone play the chords. I'm really good at mimicking things. So like all the stuff that like I come up with when it comes with an instrument, like watch on YouTube, and I'll modify it, and I'll be like, this is a thing. And then I'll forget about it 2 days later, and I'll be like, I'll record it into my DAW, and it'll be done. But after that, I have no idea how to do that again.
Okay.
I don't practice is the problem.
So you're more of a singer.
Yeah, I'm definitely a vocalist. I'm a front person.
Got it. And because I remember when you played DZ Fest, you kind of go between like singing and like rapping.
Mm-hmm.
And which one do you find it to be fluid, or do you
It's fluid
prefer
for me.
one? Yeah, it's fluid for you.
Yeah, I think the style that I have for myself as an artist in being a vocalist, they merge sometimes on certain songs too. So yeah.
It's interesting. Do you have you ever taken lessons, all self-taught
With
singing?
no.
Just
Yeah.
self-taught.
Yeah. I was like 14. I was in This and This Reason, old band. My friend had like killed himself, and he was the vocalist of our band. And then I was like, oh, I mean, it wasn't immediate, but yeah, as we like started to get the stuff back together, I was writing songs all the time because I used to write poetry. I was like, I can try, and yeah, it just became a thing. And I like doing that way more than trying to figure out how to play bass. And then they're like, just make sure that we're just playing the same chords over and over again. I'm like, cool, dope.
So that changed your trajectory, your friend killing himself?
Yeah, I think it did. It changed a lot in how I perceive stuff. There's a lot of things that changed a lot of things. For
Yeah.
me. Stability isn't really like my bag, I guess, but I do I like some semblance of like structure. I just like know that life is chaotic in general. So
Yours seems to be quite chaotic based on everything you said, the moving around, and this, that being very cryptic here and open here.
I'm pretty open. Yeah, it's just.
Well, why Cleveland? Why do you find yourself in Cleveland?
It just is it's easy to base myself and figure things out. In LA or like in California in general, it's like oversaturation because everybody's trying to do something, and you get pulled in a lot of different directions. Also felt like I wasn't contributing or building anything, and I was really seeing a lot of people around me start doing like all types of stuff, and I felt like I wasn't. And then yeah, it struck a chord with me, like, because I started like feeling bad about my relationship with my ex, and then I was like, well, why don't I just go somewhere where there's nothing and try to be something?
So you just said Cleveland's nothing, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Most people don't categorize Cleveland as like this artistic musical mecca,
I will say there are people who are trying, and there are like little pockets of like things that are building, and that's why I wanted to be like a part of that. I wanted to either build something or just be a figure in something that's growing. So,
did you ever try Chicago or New York?
Yeah, I've played here a couple times.
No, like living.
Kind of, yeah. I took like a sublease out in Chicago for like 3 months, I think.
Wasn't for you?
Nah. I'm used to city life. Wasn't like driving like that at the time, so it was pretty easy to get around. Figured, yeah, and like dating is always like a troubling thing with me. So it's
what do you mean?
Like, I don't know, people were just mean.
Can you elaborate?
Because everybody is always like trying to like. I try not to talk down on like former partners or anything. It's just a miscommunication in ideals. I'm very passionate about music, and that sometimes that like supersedes my personal life. And I'll like be like, oh, well, here's this chance to do this, and then I'll like wander off for like weeks, or like I'll forget to like text or.
Oh, you're one of
like
those
that.
people.
I try to like. I've gotten better at it in time. I'm still not great at responding. I have a manager though, so she's good at taking care of like email. Like I just tell everybody email Mylene. Yeah, even like with the pitching for that, I was like, Mylene's good at making sure I do everything. So yeah.
Wait, so it sounds like you were describing dating. You said people being mean, but it sounds like you were the one being mean by not responding.
No, because like when I would like be like,
What do you mean by people being mean?
I'm trying to think about something like appropriate.
Appropriate. This is, you can say whatever you want.
No, it's not that. It's just like, I don't know. I just feel like, cause like one of the girls I had recently been dating, like stalks me, and is like, she'll like get very like nasty and like text me from different numbers, and then, like say like I'm immature and I'm this, that, and the other because like I blocked her just because I didn't want to like deal with like being berated randomly, and yeah, like just like judging my lifestyle because like I lack that structure. Like I'd moved into my place and I didn't unpack anything. I just like had like my studio set up and my bed frame and like my bed in there and like basic stuff. I live like very basic. And she was like judging me for that. Like every time like I let somebody in, basically they like look at what's wrong with me, or what doesn't fit their narrative in life.
Maybe you're just letting in the wrong people.
Yeah, definitely.
That does suck, though. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it could just be a lack of maturity. Dating alters tremendously with age, like what people are looking for, what they want, the way they respond to stuff. You know, I've learned through dating, if someone isn't responding, that it means they don't want to talk to you. So then you just let it go. Whereas, you know, when I was a teenager, I'd be like, well, maybe I should call them if they're not responding. It's like, wait, no, that's not. If they're not responding, they don't want to talk to you.
The whole like you shouldn't chase somebody thing. Yeah.
Well, it's also context. Like, how well do you know? Maybe you just met them. Yeah, they probably don't want to talk to you. But if you've been dating a long time, it might be that awkward game of like they're ignoring, but they actually want you to reach out to them, but they won't say it. Stuff like that. You know, it gets complicated when you're closer with someone. You've known them a longer time. First, I just met someone, and it's not working. There's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I get interested in people. I just have like a lot of things in my head like all the time. So like people aren't like the biggest aspect to me anymore. Like I think like listening to people's passions and like understanding like where they're coming from and then, like just watching people grow from afar. I love seeing people's progression and growth. It's just like building that intimate space and like having that like compassion, I guess. Regularly takes me time where like people want it immediately, and then if I try to show them that attention, then I don't know, it's confusing because I'm like, if I do give you that attention and then I get busy, it's not enough, or I'm doing it too much, and then when there's a gap, I'm not doing it enough. So it's like, I don't know, but yeah.
It's a delicate balance. It's really hard. It's a lot of work. And sometimes you're not ready for it, and it's hard to find that person where you have the right amount of communication in mind, and there's communication skills. Sometimes it's how you were raised. It's what you know. It's what you saw as a relationship. Like, I don't know how you saw your parents act in their relationship, but that's a big indicator sometimes of what you might think is normal. Sometimes, or your siblings, or cousins, or aunts and uncles, people around you as a kid, you know.
I wasn't really like around my mom and my stepdad that much. I know every now and then they'll watch Chappelle's show in the living room, and then my stepdad like playing PlayStation. My mom always like working, and then I was just outside most of the time just doing stuff. So,
And this was in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you feel like you will put music and your art, your entrepreneurship kind of first when it comes to relationships, romantic relationships?
Oh, yeah, it's always like my passion before like love.
And a lot of people don't really like that, huh? Do you tell them? Do you like let them know?
So, when it's like becoming a serious thing, yeah, I've said this before. I've broken up with somebody because I'd realized the reason I broke up with her was because I didn't feel like this was like progressive enough for like what I wanted. I would like look over, and then I had realized that I'm not the type of person that she needed for like what she has going on in her like headspace and everything. And then she's not the type of person that I need around me to keep doing the things that I want to do. So I was kind of just like, she said like I basically like fired her from the relationship and how I handled it. I was like, because I told her, I was like, we're like, I have no problem with you. I still care about you. This doesn't make sense to me. So I did say I had to let you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
like you were fired.
yeah.
I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
You will not get a severance package. Wow, breaking up is brutal. It's not a good place. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy for either people. I think that the person doing the breaking up gets a bad rap, and they're not looked at as much as the person who's been broken up. But it's almost like we treat them as if like they're the person that committing the crime, and the other person's like the victim. It's like, no, it can be, as long as people are healthy, like it can be really hard on the person too, because they have to muster up the courage to do it and feel bad about their decision, knowing they're hurting somebody else emotionally. And it's a lot of weight. And you still feel that because you might, like you said, you care about that person. But you still have to deliver this really unfortunate news, especially if you still care. It just might not be working and the right time, the right place. It doesn't really matter the reason. But if it's not like a bad thing, like someone cheated or someone's like abusive, if it's just like something isn't clicking, even though we're both good people, we like each other, just isn't really meshing well, that's a really hard place to be. And I've learned to have more appreciation for the person that has to do that, regardless of how it makes you feel, because it could really suck to try to get to that place, to respect and be patient with them. But they're people too, and they have to make a really hard, difficult decision that is not easy. And most people will hear that, like your friends, and you tell them, like, oh, screw that person. Why they do that? It's like, they're a human being too. You got to think about where they're coming from. It's hard. It's a hard place to deliver that news.
I just accept that I just do things that is gonna, every time in life, like, we're always gonna do something that hurts somebody. So like at some point in the year, at least in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna find somebody I really like, and I'm gonna like not deal with them probably a couple months after. Like romantically, that's where I'm at.
Wait, you know that already by yourself?
I feel like just like, like every year I'm like, it's just like, all right, at some point I'm gonna find somebody that's like really cool, and then I'm gonna be like, all right, this is done.
So if you know that already, why not do something about that mentality?
I just try to learn like from people. Like, let's see, last year, I'm pretty sure it was last year, I dated a girl that had ended up being gay. And that was a rough place for me because like I was like, could you like rephrase why we're splitting for like my end, please? And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, just because like I was like, never mind. I just let it go. I was like, I think it's best like we just don't talk from this point. And she got like real mad at me. And then it was just because like I was dealing with the whole like I don't see myself as like male, so it's just like sitting there and dealing with that internally and not vocalizing it, and then having a partner who was gay was just a weird thing to deal with. But like circumstances is always like a weird circumstance for me. It's never like something regular. Like the mean girl who stalks me, that was probably the most regular breakup I've had recently. And I was just like her being mean, and then me being like, I gotta back out of this. I need to focus on me things. But yeah, it's always like circumstantial. It's not just like me not willing. I just think like communication is something I have to learn how to do better, and like identifying the right person. My mom and my mom and I have like talked about like finding people that basically the way she put it is like, I need somebody that I wouldn't mind representing who I am. Because I'm very like work oriented, like I'm driven to like do a lot of things. So like I have to have somebody that I can admire as well. So I need somebody like hardworking and dedicated to what they love, because that's what I love about people.
Yeah, and it's what you do. It's who you are. You want someone that you look up to. I I couldn't agree more. It's actually it's difficult. It's difficult. Let's hold this thought though. I'm gonna text my roommates to they're really loud behind us. And I'm gonna text them to keep it down if you can hear them. Very heavy conversation. I just hear them yapping. Hopefully they see it and they know. Oh, now you filming me on my phone? Now I feel like a dick. Don't use that footage. All right.
It might be.
For those listening, there was a pause because my roommates were very loud, and I'm trying to have this serious conversation. I'm just like, dude, they're just so distracting, yapping over there about probably nothing important.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
They're having a good Saturday. I don't blame them. I said please. I said thank you. Yeah. That was nice. I get it. Yeah. Do you talk to your mom a lot when it comes to relationships with women? Do you look to her for advice or help?
I think me and my mom just like, my mom, as I've like taken this front to like be like Eliy Orcko and like do things, she started to see what I've been trying to do for years, like as a person. I wouldn't say years. Before it was just like, I just want to get married and like be with the person I love. And then when it became time to like figure out who I was, I kind of just was like, I skate. When I was a kid, I wanted to like blow everything up and set stuff on fire. And now, like, what does adult me want to do? And then, yeah, I just, like, bounced around for a while. And then, yeah, like, the one thing that always was, like, true was, like, played ukulele and just, like, made up stupid songs. Like, all my friends that grew up with me, and like, he would like, always be singing. Like, just making up stupid stuff all the time. Telling jokes and singing. That's all I do. I'm a bard, like, through and through. Like, if life is D&D, I'm definitely a bard. But
I don't. Do you like Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that, or a bard, or anything.
A bard is just like an entertainer in there, and they like have like all these like support traits, basically.
Were you saying that? Expect me to know what that meant?
I expect everybody to know everything about D&D for some reason. I don't know why.
I know zilch about all things fantasy, all things games, video games, you name it, and anything fantasy, whether it's a board game, a video game. I know nothing. I've never played any of it.
I think the reason why I just assume everybody knows something about video games because of how mainstream they are these days.
I'm not very mainstream at all.
I mean, even well, that's the thing, because it wasn't mainstream. So like either side of the spectrum, it was like video games. Like people used to be like, "Oh, you're a nerd. All you do is play video games." And then now it's like, "Yeah, I'm about to play 2K. Oh, I'm about to play. Did you try Skyrim? Blah blah blah. Play Call of Duty." Well, like video games are so like normal now.
Yeah.
Where like back then it was like my friend Christian, who I grew up with, I used to just be like, "Why do you sit in the house and play video games all day? Like there's tons of stuff we can do outside." And like he just like we're kids, we used to go outside all the time, and just at some point he just stay in the house more and more and more and just play video games. I just, what the fuck is your problem? But yeah, but over time that became the norm.
It's still a problem though. Because what helps you stay healthy and fit and lose weight? Is it going outside and playing, or is it playing? The thing is, it needs a balance. I'm not saying you shouldn't play video games. I'm saying the duration people play it is a problem.
Yeah, I play like I play video games on like Sundays and stuff. I usually try to go out for brunch, and then I'll like sit at the house and play like Oblivion or Skyrim or Dragon Age.
Play video games, but also do both. Like go outside and play video games. Don't just be like, well, it's normal, so therefore I will do this. It's like therefore you will sit on a couch for too long and you might start becoming quite unhealthy, you know? It could be dangerous.
Yeah.
For anything, not just video games, movies, Netflix. You can't do too much of it, even though it is normalized.
Yeah. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. It's that like
Yeah.
poster in schools with the fish that are all going one way, and then it's that one that's like, nah, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I saw that poster in like 5th grade. I asked my teacher, I was like, what happens if all the fish go the same way as that one fish? And then they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, it says like be different, but then like what if like other fish are attracted to what that fish is doing, and then they all just start doing that? And then they were like, I don't have time for this. I was like, okay.
That's too deep of a philosophical question.
I was in 5th grade. That's fair. They weren't prepared for.
Well, the thing about that is that actually does happen, and that is what creates the counterculture and other norms. You have the one person who's groundbreaking, and there's just the one or two, and then enough follow them before you know it. Now that it's, you eventually just become
The norm.
Yeah, that you create the new norm, and now everyone's doing that, and then you have to have another person do it. So that's why it's good to always be growing and changing and learning, so you can always be, or possibly always be, that fish that's going against it.
Yeah.
Not deliberately, but inherently and naturally.
Yeah, like in the community in Ohio and Elyria that I came from, like starting out with this project, everyone's like, they safeguard their like networks because they're afraid of like people taking this, because there's literally no opportunities out there. So the moment somebody catches some type of break, people are like, no, I need this because blah, 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 blah. But like in my head, I'm like, somebody asks me, they're like, oh, how did you get on to DZ Fest that year? Or how did you get that festival in Chicago? I'd be like, oh yeah, when they do submissions, just watch out for this. And I'd just send them the information and do that. Because as much as I like doing some things over again, I still always want to look for other things to do. And I want to do bigger and better things. I wouldn't even say, at this point in my life, I don't think there's really better, just think new. Just like, yeah, as I like played with this idea more, I think using the term better is like belittling all experiences that you had, but those experiences have made you grow. So if you sit there and say, oh, this is better, but you don't really look at it for like what it actually was, and there could still be like things that you could learn from those moments. But if you feel like it's past you, you'll never be able to like really look at it and be like, oh yeah, I should try to do this now. Makes it a little bit harder. So yeah, just new experiences overall though. Just always have something going on.
Yeah, the struggle is what makes it all worth it. That suffering.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something's better. I would say just different, onward, moving forward, even a lateral movement, but just something that's progress of some kind. You seem like someone that can't still, can't be stagnant, always trying something new. And you mentioned earlier when you said who you are and what you did, that you were an entrepreneur. And anybody who has that mindset, which is a spectrum, it varies. Some people just want to have maybe an Etsy, and they just make jewelry or necklaces or artwork, and that's their entrepreneur avenue. And some people create an app and become billionaires, and that's their version of it. Some people have, beer, like your beer that you have. Which can you touch on that, Mr. Entrepreneur? How do you have beers with your face on it? What's up with that?
On a podcast like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It started with, I wanted a hot sauce. And
Okay.
like how it like actually started was I wanted a hot sauce, and I was talking to this company, and I was like, can I do a partnership with y'all? And they were like, yeah, what's your pitch? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, I want to come up with like an array of flavors that you guys pick from. I'll design, like, I'll have the artwork designed, I'll make the labels, I'll handle the marketing. I just want to put this out. It seems like something I'd really like to do because hot sauce is like cool to me. I like went on this like weird thing where I was like collecting hot sauce like stuff and like different flavors. There's the place that makes my stickers and stuff, Sticker Mule. They have this mule sauce, and it's like perfect. It's like sweet. It's got like the perfect amount of flavor and heat. Where it's like really hot, but it's like flavor. And I hate things that are like just hot and it has no like flavor to it. So that was perfect because I always complain. People were like, "Oh, what is it too hot?" I'm like, "It's not that. Like, yes, it's hot, but like there's no flavor behind it. It's like there's no actual taste to it. It's just I taste hot. That's it." But they did it perfectly. So I wanted to work with them, and then they were like, no. And I started looking into like local like hot sauce stuff, and I wasn't really getting too far. And then I like do this thing where I check in at the end of the quarter and like look at what I'm doing and what I can do better, what's new. I'm like, oh, made t-shirts, knows like I sell clothing pretty well. I do shows. I've pretty much got like those like a pretty good hold on how to get that going. I've dropped albums, dropped EPs, dropped singles. What else is there that goes along with music that I can do? And hot sauce isn't really working out. There's tons of breweries and stuff all over like Cleveland and Ohio in general. So I started pitching like my beer ideas to people. And like the same thing I had in mind for the hot sauce, just with beer. Where it's just like, I have like a couple flavors I want to do. This is the time I want to put it out. I'll handle the marketing. I'll do this. I'll come in. We'll film, do all this stuff. We'll get extra press on it. And yeah, like we'll work out the details behind it. But this is my pitch. So yeah, I did that, and then I was like just talking about it in a podcast. They were asking me about like what I had going on, since I've always got like new stuff I'm working on. And I was like, well, my biggest thing right now is trying to get a beer, and the marketing director was like on that podcast for Unplugged, and he was like, a beer, and I was like, yeah, I forgot the name for it was a seltzer at first though. Seltzers are just real popular right now. So I just wanted to like tap into that market because I felt like that would be an easier sell to like a younger demographic. And also my leads for listeners are under with women. I don't know. It's not where I'd like it to be.
What, can you elaborate?
So like 29% of my listeners on average, between the rate of like 29 to 26% of my listeners are women.
So like 71% are men.
Yeah, and then there's something like that. But then there's like a 2% like non-binary rate.
Okay.
Which from what I'm seeing in trends is like pretty average. But
you're talking about music, your music listeners?
Yeah. So I was thinking about like influence, and like every time I'm like on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, like more women drink seltzers than beers. Although making a craft beers are like a bro thing, kind of, or like a beer snob thing.
Sure.
I do know like there's a woman that like got me into craft beers and stuff, Lynette, and she's like in the Air Force now. But that's like very rare that I know women who are like into craft beers. Normally it's like a White Claw or some type of seltzer. But yeah, so it was a ploy in that for like my reasoning to go for that. And then as I like talked about the flavor and stuff, the brewmaster was like, no, what else? And then it was like an IPA and a shandy. And then we like had ran through names and came up with like the Idiot Pale Ale, so it's an IPA. And then one more thing, and then we had the Shame Shandy, which is what the actual beer is now.
How many did you have made?
Oh, we only made one.
No, I mean like all those beers. How many have you had made so far?
Yeah, just the one.
Well, like you gave me two.
Oh, that one isn't anything to do with me. That's something I'm interested. They have national distribution, so I have like a sample pack of stuff.
Even the one with your face on it?
No. That one with my face is the only one. Oh, like you talking about like
How many physical
of the 80
beers?
cases?
Okay.
80 cases was
I was
made.
like, I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about like how many other beers have I made. I was like, that's the only beer I've
No, I
made
mean
so
like
far.
how many physical cans of beer have been produced?
God, 80 cases, and I think a case holds 6 4-packs, so 6.
So 24.
Yeah, so 24 times 80.
Okay, I'm gonna figure that out real quick. That's probably gonna be what 2001. Wait, I got 16. Don't tell me 1920. 1920, I think. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. No calculator, people. For those listening, I am a dork, and I practice numbers for fun on my calculator. Like I will just do math for fun.
You would probably like D&D.
I don't got time.
It's a lot. It's a lot of math in there.
I don't have time for video games or board games. I'm doing my own thing that requires this right now. Like this is my hobby.
You could do.
It's
like,
a Saturday afternoon. Everyone else is talking and smoking and chilling, and I'm talking to someone and trying to like learn.
You can have like a D&D session with a band, and then
I just enjoy numbers and how they work, and I'm always doing math. Like when I'm driving, I'm always trying to figure out if I go this speed, it's this distance at this angle, how long will it take me to get. I don't know. I'm just a dork.
yeah, we talked about math majors that we like were either like talking to or dated on the way here. It's always like an interesting thing. I've talked to like 2 like math majors. I think Sam has had like 1 experience with one. Yeah.
I was bad at math in school because I'm not good when things are forced, when I have to learn it. I like learning things on my own time in my own way. Just an extracurricular thing, like not a class or a course. I like to just figure it out. I don't know. It's annoying. I wish I tried harder in school when it came to
Are
math.
you an engineer or something?
Not an actual like trained engineer in the sense of like a mechanical or an electrical or biomechanical or aero engineer, but an audio engineer. And I learn a lot of math through that. And that's why I really like math. It helps me better understanding sound, because sound is physics-based. And having a better understanding of math when it comes to applying it to sound design, audio engineering, sound art, gives you a better foundation and hold with being creative within it. Say with music, because music's all math too, how it actually works. That's why there is music theory. You know, you can quantify the numbers you're hearing. It's all cycles per second, the frequency. So if you know that, you can do a lot more with it, especially understanding. Once you understand music theory, like the circle of fifths, key signatures, time signatures, it's all math and number based. So having a better understanding of math gives you a better, again, control to where you can lose control when it comes to creativity.
Space that you can operate in. Yeah, I was teaching Sam about the 4th dimension on the way here too. So I'm like big on like quantum physics and like the concept of time.
What does time mean to you?
God. So like most people know you like occupy the 3rd dimension. So time is more of a sequence of events rather than like the ongoing of the passage of time. So like in a 4th dimensional field, it would be like every single instance of your existence all happens in one. So you're experiencing everything now, and that's all that exists, which is how you live. You only live in the now. The past and the future aren't really real. Because you only live in these moments. Because you can't experience yesterday. You already had that, but you're not living in that. But you also can't experience the future because you're living now. Whereas in that whole like experience, like from what I've gathered from like theories and stuff like that, you have every single thing happening all at once. And you're just like, to operate in a 3rd dimensional capacity in that life, you're everywhere that you've ever been, every like frame that you have, where it's just like, I was talking about this movie I saw where like this dude was like actually passing through dimensions because he messed up something in a timeline, and like each like frame of his like movement he could see, because it was like each part of himself was there and it was present, but it was looked like he was being stretched, but it was literally just him seamlessly moving through, which is what happens because each of those instances never leave where they're at. But yeah, sorry.
No, I'm fascinated by it. I am intrigued by time, the physical world, different dimensions, how time interacts with you based on your movement, your speed, your dopamine rush. It definitely seems like when you are enjoying yourself, time changes.
We talked about speed too. Well, obviously you can't talk about time and space without speed.
Yes.
Like, and then I brought up light speed because it's basically Futurama. Actually, smart show too. Futurama has that thing. Have you ever figured out? Have you seen the episode how he explains how the ship works? Mm-mm. So instead of the ship moving, the ship moves space around it. So when you see it move, it moves the space around it, and it's not actually traveling. It's like if we were at this table and then we shifted into another room, the table's like moving us there, but we never move ourselves. So like apparently that's like the best way to get those results for light, to move at light speed, is to never have an immovable object have the world operate around it, so it can like achieve that. Yeah.
Interesting. Is this an extra thing you go into, or did you study any type of physics in school?
I just have like a really strange network. I know like a lot of like math majors, scientists. Like I said, I was a vagabond for a while, and I just found myself in like a bunch of different circles over time. And like when I was in LA, I like dabbled in comedy for a little while. It's like people always found me funny, and then I was always interested in stuff, and people just talk to me about things, and I would be like, yeah, oh, that's cool. And then some things would like pique my interest, and I'd research it, and then I'd talk to them about it, and like, no, it's stupid because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. But what about the, and then life. I just like dabble off into something else. So like I have a lot of different like knowledge. I have small bits of knowledge in a lot of different fields from like learning from different people, but nothing that I've like zoomed in on. Jack of many trades, I'm a master of none. Yeah.
It's fun though. I find myself seriously in the same vein as you. That's why like having you here right now, why I even want to have people here do a podcast is I realize through doing all these things, the fest, sessions, other podcasts, traveling, you meet a lot of interesting people. And from different backgrounds, different educations, different financial situations, different creative endeavors, different intelligence. And if you just open your ears and listen and truly are present, you can learn so much. And you realize how vast everything really is, this world, how much I don't know, how much others do know, and how much I can learn from them, like I am right now. And it's kind of great. You can go through school, you can go to college, you can get a graduate degree. But if your blinders are on, you might not get much out of it. You might not learn a lot, and you might be really good at one thing, two subjects maybe, but you're shutting off all the other possibilities in life. And you seem like someone who doesn't do that, which is great. I enjoy people who don't do that, who take it all in, who are a sponge of information, master of none type of thing. I feel the same way. I don't know if I'm a master at anything, but I sure enjoy learning. I sure enjoy communicating and taking in as much information as possible. I enjoy the traveling part of it, the journey of, I don't really like getting to the point. I don't want to like win. I like the journey way more than like receiving the award or the medal, like hypothetically speaking and metaphorically speaking too. I'd rather just always be on the grind.
Yeah,
motivates
me. Explained that to my mom a couple of years ago. I was like, I don't think I'll ever be like happy like other people are. And then she was like,
Wait, I hate to break to you, no one's happy.
there's no.
I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, there are definitely some people I've met who are like.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Some people are happy, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, well, happiness is fleeting, anyways. It's just like you know, we have our chaotic moments, and then we either let those like define how bad things have gotten, or we weather through them, and then we become stronger from it. For each obstacle, like if you just like let every barrier that you face in life just weigh you down, you're never going to get anywhere. I've had a lot of barriers, and it's like if you just keep pushing through and have an idea that like you're worth it and you can do things, you can see a lot of dope stuff. Yeah, because like I've took Greyhound buses all over the place. I take a lot of risk in life. I just like do whatever I want, and then I just try to like be the best person I can in my capacity from there, and like try not to hurt anybody. And yeah, I like the direction so far, but there's still like a lot more I want to do.
What are some things you want to do still?
My biggest thing, I've been more vocal about this in like recently, just because like I feel like as I'm getting older, I can start building towards it. But yeah, my biggest thing is I want to create these like oases for like artists, or like just anybody who like has a desire to be creative, to explore that. But like basically like a library, but it like just has resources for artists to explore their visions. And like it's really weird because like I imagine these as like villages. It's really strange because like it like offers like housing, like using like these like tiny home things. I don't know, like I can see it. It's like always in the back of my head. But
most people would hear what you're saying and go, sounds like he's trying to start a cult.
no, because like it should be like in your community, and you can just like, if your kid wants to like do photography, there's like a bunch of photographers in there, or paint, and there's just painters just painting, and there's stuff like easels and stuff like that. I
like what you're saying. I myself try and in other ways do similar things and try to provide that as well. So I get it. That's a goal of mine as well. I wish the government would step in and use resources to put that towards, park districts and stuff. And some have that, but not quite enough. Not enough resources for kids who want to, again, have a place. Like I want to go to the rec center and like learn how to paint or do photography or produce music or play an instrument or do jewelry making or anything like that. That'd be great because it's really expensive for one person just doing their own. But if you had resources from taxes, federally and state, you can do a lot more with it.
Yeah, and it's just like me getting into music. I had to like ask my mom for a guitar for Christmas, and then I like didn't even like I like learned out of the book, and I was like, this is trash. And then I had like gotten jumped, I don't know, at some point, and then dude like came through the bushes on the other side and like got these kids off of me, and just like started talking to me. He's like, hey, you always like getting fucked with people and blah 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 blah. I was like, yeah. I was like, everybody keeps saying I'm weird, and I just want to skateboard and like do music. And he's like, oh, you do music? And I'm like, no, but like I got this guitar and like I've been trying to learn it. And he's like, oh, you're a guitarist? I was like, well, like kinda, like I don't know how to play. And he's like, well, I can show you some stuff, blah blah blah. Just I live like right over there, blah blah blah. And he's like some like high school kid, and he like introduced me to like Rabbit and like a bunch of other basically people that I ended up being in a band with, and like Johnny, who's like my best friend that killed himself. But like I had like, that's how I got into music, where like if
so
I just
getting jumped.
Yeah.
And your friend passed away. Like that stuff led you into
Yeah.
music. That's dark.
Oh,
Where would this happen? Where'd you get jumped?
I like on my street,
Like what city?
Coral Springs.
In Florida.
It's nice. Like I went there this year. It's nicer now.
Did that happen often? Were you jumped often?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how many times have you been jumped? I've never been jumped, by the way.
I don't know, a couple times. Like successfully jumped.
I don't know what a successful jump is.
As I got older and I got bigger, and like people started teaching me how to fight and stuff. Like I had to learn how to fight. Like the last time I got jumped, it didn't end up so well for them. And then I almost got in trouble. And
What do you mean it didn't end up well for them?
it just I almost got in trouble.
You almost got in trouble for
I just
them
don't
jumping
like.
you?
I just don't like. No, for them. Oh my god, I just hate talking about because like
You don't
I try
have to. You don't have
No,
to.
it's just like I try not to like. I'm a big person already, so like people just think like, oh yeah, they're tough. Well, no, like I try to like some of my mentors know like I've done my best since like high school to be a pacifist. I got fired for fighting recently. So it was like, and like literally somebody's trying to rob my store. So I was like,
Someone trying to rob you, so you fought them? and you got fired?
I defended myself. I didn't fight them. I defended myself. And me and my co-manager got fired
Why?
because
Self-defense?
we hit a customer.
Well, the customer's not.
Yep.
Okay, for those listening, the customer is usually wrong because who knows better about the product than the person who owns the place, sells it, or has been working there for years? Why would some random person know more? So the customer, owners say the customer is always right because they want to keep business. They don't want to piss anybody off. The customer's usually not right. I hate to break it to you, whoever's listening. So you hit a person that was trying to hurt you
Yeah.
and you got fired.
Yeah.
Was there camera footage?
No, they don't have cameras in those stores.
That's so messed up.
Yeah.
Man.
And like I'm the one like because literally I'm very like when it comes to like working a job I'm very like by the book with rules for the most part. I'll bend some things if it's like I don't know like group chats aren't like allowed, but it's like I'm not gonna sit there and text all my employees like the same thing over and over again. Like stuff like that where it's like okay, just because like one person or one store wanted to fuck with that and do something wrong, we all have to suffer from that. And like you want to get rid of them in a company, so I'm like I'll text y'all, I'll do whatever. But like yeah, it's just like I'll pick and choose, but like only if it makes sense. But if it's like a stern like rule, I won't break it. If I'm being attacked and it's me, somebody eating breakfast and a 16-year-old girl in the store, like right when we open, I'm not gonna let them like hurt anybody.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I got fired for that.
Man.
But yeah, when it comes to getting jumped, no, I defended myself, and yeah, I just like busted up this kid's like head really bad, and then almost stabbed him. So, but it was because I was getting jumped for my affiliation with like other people with some other stuff going on. So this was just like years ago. It's really weird because like I had this reputation growing up, like, oh yeah, he's the whitest, like friendliest black dude you'll know, and I'll be like, I was like, I get like this is my reputation, but like nah, like I'm just a person trying to just do dope shit, things that I like enjoy. I don't have to be white to like skate. I don't have to be white to like drink and party and do drugs and shit. I just like to have a good time, and I don't really fall into what y'all perceive as like black or white. I don't believe in like gender confines or like racial confines really, where it comes down to, oh, this is just like black or Hispanic. I'm a black person who grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood. So And then I got jumped by black kids all the time. But like I had friends who were Hispanic and white. So then they were like, oh yeah, well he hangs out with. I was like, no, like black kids beat me up because I'm from that neighborhood.
Oh, just because of your location they beat you up?
That, yeah. Pretty much that. I talk weird because I don't talk like them. They couldn't place me racially because they couldn't figure out if I was Jamaican or Haitian or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm just black. So, yeah.
And that's so strange to me that it just shows how like territorial and tribal people are. Like, you could be the same skin color and it's not even about that. It's like, you're just from that place. You're not even from this place. And that alone, it's weird. Or you speak differently.
Well, yeah, there was a long time where I just let people think I was Dominican. I just rolled with that. So
just to avoid conflict?
Yeah, it was easier to get by for a while.
That's hard, though. It's hard, like, psychologically. Like, I just want to be myself. I have to pretend to be something else.
Yeah, that's why I like skating, because nobody really gives a fuck.
Yeah. Skaters are wild and brutal, but the one thing that's great about them is it's like, it doesn't matter who you are. You skate. That's a lot of creative endeavors, though. Like, musicians are like that. Artists are like that. It's really when you're not within some type of expression where you realize it doesn't matter anything except for the art, the outcome itself is all that matters. You know, nobody cares what you look like, how tall or big you are, but can you do a hard flip? You know, can you grind that? Cool. Can you play that song? Can you make somebody move emotionally? Can you make someone cry? Can you make someone feel loved? Can that painting draw a deep expression out of your heart? Like, that's all that matters. And when you don't have those, that's why art is so important to me, and expression, and should be to everyone. It transcends race, money, color, sex, everything. Intelligence, it transcends everything. And it could be, I don't know, it can bring people together. It does all the time, you know.
Because it's just pure, like, expression, basically. Yeah. And that's, like, there's no way to gauge expression, really. It's just somebody being themselves. I think, and I was having this conversation this morning, too, like, I think a lot of people who brandish the title of artists are getting lost in narratives. Someone last night said this, agenda. That's what she said. It's like people who push agendas, like, in their music really aren't really doing their part in getting to the big picture. Because, like, you can express yourself through and through, and you can feel something, but 9 times out of 10, you don't feel Black Lives Matter. You just feel like the root of that saying comes from feeling like they don't. People who, like, make you feel like your life doesn't matter because of the color of your skin. And there's a lot of different ways to articulate that, but you've used a known saying for that. That's just, like, one, like, example of, like, something that I would look at and be like, I get it, but, like, you have your own story. I'd want to know more about that than that. Like, there's another way to get that point across. I feel like more people need to be true to themselves in that capacity rather than representing brands or other people's ideals. So what does it mean to you when you see a white person talk about Black Lives Matter or say it or promote it or demonstrate it? 9 times out of 10, if they're a white person who actually thinks that Black Lives Matter, they could find a better way to say that. Then same thing with a black person saying it. You're a person at the end of the day having an experience. If you feel the root of that, paint the picture for me. I'll listen. Like, I'm here for it. But then again, maybe you think it's easier to make a pop reference. Like, and pop music exists. Maybe I'm just not a big, like, I listen to pop music, but it just, certain things with weight, I just feel shouldn't be generalized. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just more for self-expression and creativity and exploration. So I feel like people should push the barrier a little bit more. Yeah, what are you doing in your life, personally and publicly,
amongst yourself, amongst your friends, colleagues, and family to help racial inequality and sexism instead of just putting it on Instagram or Facebook? Like, are you doing actual things, or are you just saying it just to play your part so you can play face and have people like it? No, that's a big problem I have with a lot of social media and the agenda that, people want to pander to the right demographic, the right politics, when I'm like, are you actually walking that walk and talking the talk? Or are you just doing it right here superficially?
Yeah, I think, because like even in like my career, there's like easier ways to like garnish respect and like more followers and stuff. But like how we were talking about like doing DIY stuff versus like a major festival like in like South by Southwest or something like that, like to that caliber. Depending on my financial situation and like what's going on, like next year is all about building my fan base. So like I'm taking time to find like target the right people that I want to interact with, and like have a small following of people in like cities that I could tell you different things about them. I have a Discord channel. I've talked to them. Like I have like 1,000 something followers, and I've talked to a lot of them. And that's why like that whole like me being on my phone for texting is like a big thing, because like I get messages from like people from 1,000 people is a lot of people. It's not. We look at like it's like, oh, you've got 14K followers. It's a lot of people on there, but like to know like 1,000 plus people and like have like a story with almost every single one of them, and then be like, okay, this, and then talk, or if they have a problem or they just want to vent, they know they can like, and I'll get to them at some point, and it's in the back of my mind, like such and such had a thing going on. I'll like skim it and be like, okay, when I get time to sit down, I'll respond to this. So like to connect with as many people as possible and just let them know like they're not alone in the world, and like encourage them to better themselves and keep growing, and then watch that happen is like amazing. So like, and I want to build more of those interactions, because I'm a girl that I had like talked to at like a basement show when I started, when I like started this whole like just putting like my mantra or whatever is like believe yourself. She was like, your songs are like really like empowering, to like, it encourages me to like see like all these people doing stuff that they love, and then you like talking about it, and like it's really like heavy in your music. I'm like, yeah, like I like hard work and determination. I feel like it gets you a lot of stuff. And I was like, do you do anything? She's like, well, I want to do nails. My parents want me to go to school and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, fuck your parents. Like, and then she's like, what? I was like, yo, fuck your parents. Like, it's like, I'm sure they're cool people or whatever, but like once you're an adult, you're gonna like be by yourself, and like you're gonna have to make your own life. And definitely like experience school. I think school is like a dope thing for people to figure out, like test the waters with everything you can. But like go, like if you love doing nails and you think it's a dope thing, go ahead and do it. And like I would just like see like my story feed thing, and I would like check and I'd see it, and then she's launched a nail page 2 years later, and she's like doing that now. So and I'm not saying like I inspired her to do that, but I think like just those hints of different people being like, yo, do that over time helps encourage people to just take that first step to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to try. Or like getting jumped, and then someone coming out the bushes and helping you and be like, yo, come hang out with us.
What was he doing in the bushes?
Because like, so it's a really weird, so like no white people actually live where like we're at, but there's like this gated community on the block on the end of it, and it's like got hedges and fences and stuff, and like passcodes that we all learn the fucking passcodes to go swim in the pool. But And they used to fucking hate this. Who keeps telling y'all the codes? Because they'll like change it, and one of us will get it, and we'll be like, because we'll know one of the kids in the neighborhood. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, and we'll hit the thing and get through. Obviously, as we became like older, it became a problem. But then we just started going to other pools, and then,
Yeah.
because cars started getting into the picture, and then you're taking up parking. Before it was just like kids from the neighborhood just getting into this gated community. But yeah, he was on the other side of like where they started planting those bushes, and then he just like heard all the nonsense on the other side and just came over, I guess, because he was like, "This is the first time I've seen you get jumped."
You're like, I've been jumped a lot.
Yeah.
What does that do to the way you perceive people in the world being jumped, beat up, fighting? Because like I've never really had that experience. So
if I see somebody getting jumped,
if it happens to you, like what has that done for your perception of people? Like what do you think of people? I've never been jumped. I've never had those issues, so I don't see people in a violent manner the way you might. So I'm just wondering like what it means to you with all the violence that you came up with.
Yeah, and this is the thing, because I just had an argument with my band. Like I'm like done with that group of people, because they were like, "Why are you so hostile?" I was like, "Because Nate's standing right next to me, asking me about shit, and like all y'all are on one side, and as I'm talking, y'all are talking over me, and I'm like, I know where I'm at." But like, one, y'all don't give a fuck about me, and two, like my background isn't as nice as yours. Like I've had to like fight for my life multiple times. I've had guns pulled on me. I've had tons of stuff, and these were like regular occurrences in my life. And I've had people pull all types of shit on me. So in my head, a lot of people don't give a fuck about me. Like people just don't care about me as a person. It has nothing to do with me being black. It's just me. Nobody gives a fuck about, and that's fine, because like I'm doing stuff that I care about, so I have to defend me. Like, and then like thinking about it, because the people that I grew up with that like were there for like the really rough patches are either like dead or in jail now. So like,
really,
So
why do I always hear that? Why is that such a common? I mean, I think I know the answer, but this is a great example of I should not assume. I should let the person who's experienced it tell me. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Why are so many black men dead or in jail?
Oh, these are white kids mostly.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do I always hear it's black men?
I mean, it might just be your region. I mean, you got to think.
Where I'm from, Chicago.
I was gonna say, Chicago. I'm from Florida. It's different. It's different. Whiter, and like I said, it's whiter Spanish. I didn't have a ton of black friends growing up. They were mostly Spanish, and then I had like a couple white friends.
So it's about where you're from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I guess it's a correlation of income, poverty.
No.
Where these white kids came from money?
Yeah.
And they're dead or in jail?
Yeah. Suicide. The death is different.
Oh, okay.
Suicide, overdose.
It's making more sense now. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crime.
Because you were talking about getting jumped and fighting and crimes and guns.
Because I'm black.
Right, okay.
So those are my issues.
Okay, I see.
Where like the people I started hanging around that I didn't have to worry about that type of stuff.
Okay. It's making more sense now.
Yeah. I had a higher chance of me ODing than most people did. Like from my block, because I had other friends.
What kind of drugs?
Like, I don't think you can OD on coke.
You probably could.
Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, because heart.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. I've never done it. Have you done it?
Yeah.
I've never done it, so I'm sure you could though.
Yeah, coke, X when that was a thing. I don't think anybody's doing X anymore. I think everybody does Molly. Yeah. I never did Molly. It was never my thing. I got prescribed Adderall and I got addicted to that. Excuse me. Weed was hard to find, so as soon as we like got a plug for that, that was pretty easy. Yeah, just a couple other things.
So a lot of the kids overdosing on drugs.
Yeah, I've had a good amount of friends OD.
Pills, heroin?
No heroin, pills. Yeah, heroin's more of a northern thing, I think. I mean, we've got heroin in Florida, but it's not like it's not a regular thing. Lean, popular, always been popular. But yeah.
So they're in jail for drugs as well?
Most of them, some violence, some drugs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. some just weird shit. Just yeah.
It's hard. I mean, I know a lot of people like that too, growing up around here, that are in jail for a bunch of different reasons, and it is sad. It is hard, especially the overdose. And you're like, man, that didn't have to happen. Like it's almost like the overdosing always comes with some type of mental illness. Why are you pushing yourself that far? Why are you letting yourself get to that far with drugs? You know?
I'm kind of numb to it by it. It's like really frequent. Like at this point, like I said, I've known a lot of people growing up, and like, oh my God. And I talked to my friend Brandon about this. I had a friend, oh my God, this kind of sucks because like this was somebody who wasn't even like connected to like all that shit. But it fucked with me because the way I felt when I heard that he was dead, I was like, damn, he's gone. I was like, it just be like that. Like, it's just, it is what it, like, it sucks, but like, people die all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's whatever. And like, even like for my own death, like, I have this joke where I'm just like, yeah, the fucking day I die, I want nobody is like, I don't even want a fucking funeral, just fucking throw me in like a trash can or something like that. And then I remember I like was talking about this, and a friend of mine was like, oh no, I would tell people to like stream Never Knows Best 1,000 times. Like, oh fuck you, because like it's my like most popular song, and like I hate it because it's like old and I have like a bunch of other stuff I'm working on. But yeah, nah, it's like, I don't know, death, it's just like, it's the end. That's all it is. And then you have, you know, you just can't stop, can't do what you wanted to do anymore, and that sucks. I think people can't make the impact they wanted to, but then in my head, it's like most of my friends. Oh my God, it takes a lot for people to like realize that like we're living back there. When I started writing poetry, and like somebody I like went through my backpack and like stole one of my notebooks, and then one of my friends, Brian, had like read through it. He's like, damn, I didn't even know this shit about him. He's been right next to me, like. And then he like like he wrote in there and like wrote an apology to me and stuff. And I was like, oh shit. But yeah, we just be living, and then not even thinking about like the impact we have on people and like the things that does. But when we sit down and process it, which we don't have time for. And I think like for a lot of people, sitting in and checking in with yourself is a hard thing to do. You don't know what to fucking do with yourself to do. Like, how do you even do that?
How do you do that?
It started with poetry. I don't even know. Oh yeah. I got in like real bad trouble. I was like grounded for a summer, and like I couldn't leave my room. I couldn't do anything. It was like being on like, yeah, it was like being like in the DH, and I just like had to stay in there.
Into what?
Detention hall.
Oh, okay.
So it was just like, it's like being in there, and it's like, yo, what do I do? So I used to draw and stuff all the time. Couldn't have the TV. So like I just had nothing but like my mental space. I feel like this is what like fucked me up too. But like I had nothing but my imagination, and a bed. Like they took everything out of my room. So I just had like my bed and like my dresser.
Why'd they take everything out of your room?
I was just in trouble.
What'd you do?
I just wasn't. I was gonna say school. Yeah, it was just school.
All right.
Yeah.
You got into a fight at school?
Nah, it was just school.
You were just school. Okay.
Yeah, school. Between like grades, nonsense, and everything.
Okay.
School. It was a lot. But yeah, I had just had that, and then I had picked up like just writing stories randomly, and then I just like keep writing, and then like had like these like composition books that are just like filled, and I keep filling them and just like writing like a bunch of stuff. And after like I was finally let go to like go outside and shit, I just like started coming home and I just write stuff like poetry, mostly poetry. And normally like I would be like, oh, I'm just gonna write a poem today. Just write a poem and do that. Or like if I'd be at lunch, just write poems. I don't know, I just picked up that skill, I guess, by force. Like nobody told me to do it. It was literally just find something to do. Like you're in there. Like that's where you go. And yeah, that was it. So yeah, that's what I do now. I just like, I sit in the studio, I make like a song or two a day, and then yeah, that's about it. Or I have a notebook with me like all the time. I like write out like different goals I have for myself, things I want to do, what I have available to me. I like look at everything I possibly have to make whatever I want.
So a lot of your songs, lyrics come from poems you wrote?
No, those usually just come from an idea.
Oh, those are separate? You
Yep.
keep them separate?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know some people mix them. Like I do that, so I didn't know if you did
I
it.
feel like that's like backtracking. I feel like the composition should be set for like what it is, and then you have like you can make something new. You can always make something new.
Yeah.
So why not just let the poem be a poem, let the song be a song?
Well, they could be one and the same. Aren't lyrics sometimes just poetry?
They could, but
Yeah.
you could also just make a new song.
Yeah. I see them as the same. So I guess it's a perspective thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you're not like I don't think you're wrong. I just like,
Yeah.
in my practice,
Yeah.
I'm just like
That's what works for you.
yeah,
Right.
I'm like oh
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's but what we're saying right now, this conversation is what makes it so cool. It's different for everyone. Some people won't ever write a song or a poem. Some people might just write songs with structure, intro, verse, chorus, bridge. Some people might write poems and kind of go back and forth and steal ideas from their poem and put it into a song. Some people, like myself, might just write poems and then turn them into songs and not change anything. And there's like a whole spectrum of being a lyricist and a poet. And it's really interesting and fun. And everyone kind of does it differently. Some people have to write the song first and then they can add lyrics to it. Some people write the lyrics first and they add a song to it. There's no right or wrong way.
yeah. It was just that what you're talking about with the whole like getting the product out basically, or like getting the end result.
Yeah, that process, how you get there, is just different from person to person. I have a question about that tattoo on your neck. Can you tell me what that is about and how bad that hurt?
I feel like you're gonna feel worse about the story behind it. But
Why?
It's death again. But yeah.
Well, I've learned that's the theme with you, apparently.
Literally, another interview I just had this week. The woman was like, "So what inspired you?" He's like, "What's your biggest inspiration?" I was like, "Pain." And then she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, like most of my songs like come from like a bad place. I just usually try to be positive about it because." Who the fuck wants to listen to like somebody that's always like brooding and edgy and sad?
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Are you sad?" I'm like, "I'm always sad, but it's all right, you know. I'll find something."
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Oh," but yeah, no, my neck tattoo. God, no.
What does it say?
Like,
Do you still think of me?
Yeah.
And it's like a casket, and it goes from the bottom of your neck across your Adam's apple.
Yeah.
So it's like probably 4 inches. It looks painful.
Yeah, no, I have a high pain tolerance, so it doesn't bother me. It comes from all those years of getting jumped.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, stabbed, jumped, cut.
You've been stabbed.
Yeah.
Where?
My eye.
Wait.
And then
Wait. What? Been stabbed in the eye.
cut, technically.
What?
You haven't noticed the scar over here?
I mean, I see a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm letting you tell the story. So, tell the story about how you've been cut in the
Stuff
eye.
with a girl.
A girl cut you in the eye.
Yeah.
It wasn't even being
With the
jumped
fishing knife. Yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah.
Is she in prison?
No. We were like kids.
It was an accident?
No.
I see the scar. She could have took your eye from you.
Yeah.
She missed it by like
Yeah.
a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
Holy crap. How bad did you bleed from that?
A lot. Yeah.
Dude, you almost lost it. I could see it now. I can't stop looking at the scar and I'm like, dang, that is like, I almost took your eye out.
Yeah.
That's a wild story. You even tell a story and I can only imagine. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stories.
Yeah, you do.
When we met on Thursday, I was like telling stories about like me like jumping off the pier during Hurricane Katrina.
What?
And like, yeah, I have stories for days.
Tell them. I'm here. Let's go. You jumped off a pier. Tell me about this. Were you in New Orleans?
No. Florida. So.
Oh, when it kind of hit all over?
Yeah, it hit the South.
Got it.
So which story do you want?
I want to go with these stabs.
The neck.
The neck. Let's start with this neck.
Neck is sadder than not everything, I think. Yeah. Neck, basically, I was talking to a girl. She had gotten cancer, and we were just like really close. And she was like, I don't want you to like, I don't know how this is gonna go. It's just really bad. Something I've been dealing with progressively. She had like one of those like things with the
oxygen mask.
Yeah, too. So she had like a couple other problems too. But yeah, I was like, okay. She's like, it's not that I don't like you. It's just like I don't want to get emotionally involved while I'm dealing with this because like the treatments and all that's supposed to like take a lot out of you. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, we can just be friends. So like I adore this person. But
I'm sorry, Eli.
But yeah.
You don't have to tell it.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we just like hung out on occasion. I was trying to do like rap stuff and just figuring stuff out for the most part. And just like we'll talk every now and then, just check in, like, hey, how you doing? And I like taking some time to like visit, and yeah, she used to like draw stuff, and like she had like these like designs and stuff in there and stuff. I didn't see this until like after she had like passed. But like I saw like some of her drawings like really good too. But yeah, it's like finding like the proper way to tell this. But yeah, basically she like passed, and I was like looking through like a couple other things, and I'd like seen the coffin outline, and just like she had like this stuff, and I remember like one of the conversations like she had, we were like talking about death, and I was like very, not like my best moment, but yeah, I was just like, just kind of just gone, like you die, like I don't have any answers, but like yeah, like when you die. And she like broke down, and she was like, I don't want to, blah blah blah. I was like, because like she was just deteriorating over time basically. So yeah, she had passed, and like I'd had like one of them, because I was like, oh yeah, let me get like a tattoo from like one of your designs. And yeah, I'd like just put that together. This font though is not her handwriting. I had like saw something that was close to it that was cleaner for like what I wanted, and got that done. So yeah.
Wow. That is heavy. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah, the eye thing, literally, I was talking to one girl, I was dating another, and groups clashed, and she had found out. I was going to hang out with some friends. She threw an ashtray at me. And it was like one of those like glass, like bulky ones. I was like, eh. And then she had,
ouch.
Like, I ducked. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh my God, I was like, you almost fucked me up. And she was like, I fucking wish it hit you, blah, 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 blah. And then I was just like, I'm just gonna fucking go. And they're like, no, just sit, bro. Just calm the fuck down, blah, blah, blah. So we sit, we're talking. And she's like, you're just gonna act like everything's fine. I was like, we're done. Like, that's it. Like, you got me. I'm good. That's it. And then she's like, oh, okay. So, like, I'm just sitting down on the couch, and fucking Robert's, like, over in the kitchen. There's, like, a couple people who's, like, making guac. And I'm like, so I'm gonna go see Tristan across the street. So I go outside, go see Tristan, and I come back. She comes back out. She, like, hits me. And I'm like, yo, chill. And I, like, grab her. She's like, let fucking go with me. Let fucking go with me. Blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, nah, because you just fucking hit me.
Yeah.
And she, like, pulls her knife out. And it's, like, it's technically my knife because I used to go fishing with my friends in the canal. And so, like, for, like, the line and stuff, it's, like, one of those, like, black little ones thing. They're, like, this big.
Mm-hmm.
And then she pulled her knife out. And then you, like, swiped at me. And they, like, cut that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, it's not that crazy.
That's
yeah.
pretty crazy. She could have took your eye out. Like, it for those that can't see, it's right. Like, it squeezes with the creases of when you blink your eye and close your eye. Like, that's how close. It's on the eye, just north of it to where it missed the eyelid. That's intense that she did that. That's not good.
Yeah, I think she's, like, cool now. I don't know, at some point when I was, like, dating Salma, we had, like, talked for, like, in passing, and she was, like, cool. She apologized. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Cool.
You have found yourself in some situations, my friend. Holy crap.
What's this thing I used to tell my friends? It's like, hey, why do you know so many people? And I'd be like, you know, if you spend every day inside the house, yo, she's like, you're never going to find what's out there. I never found anything good out there, I can tell you that.
You got scars to remember it, though.
Yeah.
Tattoos and scars to remember. Yeah. And you said, were you stabbed, you said? Or is that what you were talking about, the eye?
Basically, yeah.
Never shot, huh?
Not that I know.
Not that I know of.
Like, I think, like, a graze. That's about it. Like, nothing, like...
You've been grazed by a bullet.
Yeah, nothing, like, major.
That's intense. Where'd it graze you?
Let's get my leg.
You're talking about it as if it's nothing. So you've been shot at before, and they missed you.
It was. I don't think it was. No, this wasn't for me. No.
Who was it for?
One of my friends. They got him eventually, but yeah.
They got him?
Yeah.
They shot him eventually?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's...
I'm appalled and you're laughing.
Because, like... God.
It's okay. You don't have to tell these stories.
Yeah, I was like... I just feel like every time, like, I'm honest about stuff, it's always, like... bad.
No.
Like,
why is it bad?
I don't know. I just feel like...
It's not bad.
The perception of things is just
no.
like...
I think it's good. I think it's good that people hear what really is going on in the world, what people really go through. The suffering, the pain, the death, the humiliation, the pushbacks, and the downsides to certain things. Life's not, as pretty as people think it is for some people. They need to hear it. They need to hear it from people who survived it and went through it. It can humble people. Let them take a step back and realize, like, how good they have it, how spoiled they are, their upbringing, their skin color, financial situation, education, parents being around. Some people have it really good and they don't even know. So I think your stories are very helpful for that. And so I appreciate your honesty. I'm not trying to push anything that you don't want to say. I'm a curious person. I can't help it.
Yeah, no,
that's and especially if I could see through who you are and your honesty, how much you've been through and what you do, where it comes from, Yeah, that's... So you've seen a lot. A lot. Way more than I have when it comes to that.
I mean, I've... Like, and it's not all bad. Like, I've had, like, a regular... I'd like to think I had, like, a regular life. Like, I've played video games.
Mm-hmm.
I skateboarded. I surfed. I went to go hang out at the walk, and, like, which is, like, this, like, plaza on University, like all the kids used to go to back in the day. I think they still do to hang out. But yeah, just everybody used to just go hang out there and just be kids. But it's like a shopping plaza that's outside. So yeah, I mean, like get Jamba Juice, smoked hookah, and then like I went to parties that like didn't end in violence all the time.
Did many parties end in violence?
Like one or two.
Oh, okay, that's good. You're gonna say more.
Yeah. It was like at least the ones, because like the people I would go to party with, my bad, were like on just in a different world. I just started pulling away from the worst groups that I was around. Not worst, but the rougher ones. It's so weird to see how, and like this is one thing I like about video games, because like they do this thing where it comes full circle. Like if you like, especially like RPGs, where it's like you could live the path of like this person or this person, but like they connect. So like I would hang out with like one group of friends, and then like I would say nothing, and then they like go to like do something, like get drugs or something like that, and I would know the person they would like buy drugs from. And they'd be like, KK, and I'd be like, oh shit. And they're like, you know, yeah. No. They're like, why didn't you say anything? I was like, yeah. You've
always put yourself out there, so you know a lot of folks.
Yeah.
You know a lot of people.
Eventually, I became that I know a guy person. I tried to separate myself for a while, and then it became like everyone was like, he knows a lot of people. And then I just embraced it, and I was like, yeah. Somebody would talk about wanting to do something. I was like, oh, yeah, such and such does this. We can go talk to them. And then I would just start connecting people. So.
You're the connections guy.
Yeah.
I feel you on that one. I found myself knowing a lot of people these days. And you don't realize it until you meet someone new, or you go somewhere and someone knows you, and you're like, oh, huh. I guess I know a lot more people than I thought. But it's a beautiful thing because, yeah, you have these connections. You learn a lot. You learn a lot when you meet new people. You talk to new people. You have different perspectives when you engage with people from around the country, different backgrounds, like yourself. You know, not every day do I get to talk to someone who has the stories you have. And a lot of people in my world never will. But I'm doing it right now, and I'm learning a lot because of it. And we're just talking. And I didn't have to pay for it. It's not a college course. It's nothing but a conversation, yet it's so eye-opening. You know, I'm a different person now after this conversation, and that's because of you and your life.
Yeah, I enjoy like talking to you and like getting like to see, like, yeah, like I said, your experience, like the things I learned like about like you and like your friend group and everything at DZ, because like I always admired like people who have like this stable like lifestyle where it's like you still talk to your friends, you still have like all this stuff. I like close families and stuff like I have a friend Brickell, and her family's like always like, oh, come to game night and blah, blah, blah. Like invites me for New Year's, like every year, like they invite me to go do stuff with them. And like my family like does stuff, but like everybody's kind of like, it's a lot of like stuff in between. But like you can just bounce around, but like they're like, they can get annoyed with each other and all this other stuff, and like they still see each other every week. Or like my family, like if you get into a fight, you know, see each other for about a year or 3, and then it's like, you know, well, that person doesn't exist. And yeah, but like people who like know how to like build and stay together is a beautiful thing, I think.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
It's like any relationship, from one person to a group. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of honesty, admitting when you did something wrong, them admitting when they did something wrong, apologizing. You know, last night my friends and I were hanging out in the kitchen, and we were talking about like, have we ever gotten in fights? And when we did, it was like an argument, and how quickly we like apologized about some type of altercation, but no physical fights, just verbal things. And it's like, yeah, we never really like got in a fight or got mad at each other. Very forgiving, understanding, patient, and apologetic. and sincere, and then it could lead to like really deep, long-term relationships as friends, platonic ones, romantic ones, family. It's the resentment, it's the not admitting when you were wrong, it's not being patient for letting someone else eventually come to apologize to you and admit they were wrong and accepting it. The whole idea of like hating someone and cutting someone off is a very dangerous place. I don't think it's healthy. I don't do it. Maybe I don't see them anymore, but I would never hate someone or cut them off and say, like, you're this, you're that. It's like, no, forgive them, move on. You can't live with that type of hate. There's been so much destruction in my life and in this world to hate somebody and to just be like, no, you don't exist anymore to me. It's like anybody I've had to not speak to anymore, which is very unfortunate. I think about them all the time, almost every day. There's a few people, and it's really sad, and I hate it. But it just got to the point where you can't see them anymore. I know you know what I'm saying, but I still think about it all the time. It doesn't leave me. It's like a sense of guilt, but it's like there's nothing I can do about it. It was so traumatic and dangerous that you can't really interact with them anymore, Mm-hmm. But I still think about those people all the time. Again, almost every day of my life, and I probably will, But most of the time, it's, like what you experienced at DZ Fest. It's a huge community of friends that are we've been together for a while, hanging out, and just being aware of each other and what you're doing. It's hard to have a lot of friends together for a long time without people stepping on each other's toes, holding each other accountable, being honest, but also like it's hard to do that and not have people be jealous or get mad at each other because someone might be progressing and the other person isn't. I'm under the belief that you should help others. If you're progressing, you should bring people with you that are trying to and help them. Give advice, give ideas, be open, learn from them. You're never going to be the smartest person. So learning when other people are better at something than you are, admitting that to yourself and being like, I could learn from that. I should do something with that knowledge. And then what I'm good at, try to help them with. And it's like a nice, trade-off instead of just being like, oh, I know this, I know that, and thinking you're better than people. It's a really dangerous place, and I've seen it a lot. And it's just ego. Sometimes you need to be humbled. Sometimes you need to be beat up, or sometimes you need to lose money, or lose at something, or not, or fail out of something. The biggest thing I've learned in life sometimes, or it happened a few times, was like getting a really bad grade in a class I paid a lot of money for, and I'm just like, crap, I'd never want it. Like, it's such a bad feeling. Like, I got an F one time in my life in college. Granted, I never went to the class. It's my own fault, but I learned from that. And I was so embarrassed by it, and I never let it happen again. And in fact, it motivated me to do way better. And my grades got substantially better after just getting one F because it was so shameful. And so I felt so bad about it. It's like, I worked so hard to be here. I tried so hard. My parents raised me this way, and then I got this F. So I retook the class, exchanged the grade, and then did better from there on out, just from having to suffer through paying for that F, having it go in a transcript, all the embarrassment that comes with it. But I needed it to kick me, in the butt to be like, no, I can do better. Like, I'm not going to fail.
Yeah, 'cause you hold yourself to a standard, which I mean,
yeah,
I think that because I've looked at people who give up. God, yeah. I had recently posted on Facebook the other day too. I was like, it sucks giving up on people that you care about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. It's just it's somebody in my mind that I've had an on and off relationship with for years that I recently just backed away from.
Romantically or platonic?
Both. Yeah, it's an on and off thing. So sometimes we'll get together and it'll be platonic. Other times we'll get together and be romantic. Sometimes it's always the romantic thing is always in the background, but the room for space to even get involved between the both of us usually just doesn't work. And as over the years, I've grown. I'm trying to be let's just try to do something. She'll slip through the cracks of whatever is going on in her head. And I'd realized recently like she has like a really bad problem with like alcohol and like everything is just like slipping for her. And like I've tried to, and that's why I'm like it's romantic and platonic, because like I've just tried to be like a friend. Like maybe me just swooping in romantically isn't what she needs. Maybe she just needs like a real solid friend. I could do that for sure, because I care about this person at the end of, like, regardless of my interests, I genuinely care about this person.
Yeah.
And so like I was friends with her. I like every time she would talk to me about a dude, I'd be like, so I'm gonna take my own personal bias out of this. And I think that, and I was 100% honest every time. I was like, I'm still interested in you. I'll just let you do you. So when you come to just know, like, I do have a bias, but I'll try my best to give you my input. But like the dudes that like she would mess with would like use her, like for like a place to stay, just so they could like get high or do like just do nothing with their lives. And there's a lot of people like this in Cleveland. Sam's just like, but yeah, there's a lot of people like that in Cleveland, and they just, it's like she just gets drained. I just have watched it like happen over the, like, we've known each other for about 7, almost 8 years now, and it like she had lost her place because of like she just let people in. Like she had a boyfriend, and then she broke up with him, but he was still there, and she dated another dude, and they were both in there. And then they split, but then she had a friend stay because they were down. So you had 3 dudes living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and then she had the bedroom, and then they would just like come in and out. And like of the like apartment, I don't know about the rest of the stuff, but like I was like, hey, you need to like kick them out because he's yelling at you. She was like, oh, I'm gonna come over here, blah blah blah. I was like, all right, that's fine. And then she like FaceTimed me. And then she's like, I don't know if I can come. And then I was like, why? And then she was like, you know, the bees. And I was like, do you need me to come over? And then she's like, no. I was like, if you need me to come over, just like text me. And he starts yelling at her. And then I'm like, okay. And then he like yells at her, hits the door, and then leaves. I was like, are you gonna come over or do you need me to come? Like, those are your choices, because obviously like this isn't good for you. You can like stay at my place for a while as you get yourself together. And she's like, no. She's like, this is my house, blah 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 blah. I'm like, all right. I was like, I can't force you to do anything. You don't want me involved. I can't do anything, but like, just make sure you're safe. Call me in the morning. She's like, okay. And like she called me in the morning, and she's like, he was just being like, but she was posting on Snapchat. She had left her room, went to the living room, started watching TV, and he was just yelling at her. And like they're not even together, and he's in her place, not paying rent, not doing anything, just doing that. So she had lost that place, and now she like drinks all the time and like stays at one of her friends' places. And yeah, we had like reconnected, and she's like, I see you're doing good, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah. I was like, how are you doing? And she was like, telling me about her situation. I was like, you just like want to go hang out? I'm not the best person to like, if you're trying to get away from like alcohol and stuff like that, because I like drink, like regularly, but not like to the point where it's like messing up my productivity.
Sure.
I like have a drink, and I'll go on with my day.
Sure.
Where it's not like I have to drink all day and do something. So, and then us meeting like again for like the 100th time, we had like I like brought, because we used to like take shots of Fireball and just like do something stupid. So I had like Fireball, took a shot, went to the beach, and just like dug a hole and like had a bunch of people come. They just had like a good time. And like then we went swimming at the pool at my place, and like just had a good day. And then, yeah, like she stayed over and then went to work. We like kept hanging out, talking, and she started like telling me where she was at. And I was like, well, do you want me to help you find a new place then? I was like, I'm pretty good at like bouncing around and finding places, so I can help you look if you're like, because she's working 2 jobs, like she's trying to balance it all, but it's like not going that well. And then the drinking on top of that, she'll drink every day, like every day. And it's like, why? And like literally for years, I've heard her say, I'm going to go back to school. For like 7, 8 years. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back to school. It's on your mind that much. You should probably take a shot at it. So that bugs me a lot. And I take it personally because I have this person that I care immensely about, that I can't reach. I can reach like as many people, like random strangers all the time, but like somebody that literally has access to me, like in my regular life, like I can't affect, but I'm also like try to give them space to like figure their own things out. Because there was just parts of my life where like people would be like, what the hell are you doing? And then like I think I'm fine for the most part, in terms of like growth. So I'm hoping that like over time like things get better, but it hasn't. So yeah, stepping away from people and like hating some, like the hating thing, I don't hate her, but like that stepping away from people thing and like thinking about them every day, like it's like a tough decision. But like for your own mental fortitude, sometimes it's like what you need.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's extremely difficult if you're a caring, thoughtful person, which you clearly are, to have that burden. People will say like, "Oh, don't like move on." It's like I moved on, but like these people won't leave my heart. I just can't. I don't know what to do about it. They're just. I'm an emotional person, and they made an impact in my life, and they mean a lot to me. And those memories and those experiences are stuck there forever. And they'll flicker with time. The candle will get more dim, but it never goes out.
Yeah.
As long as I'm alive, those individuals will be there forever, It's sad. I hope they're all well. I think about it all the time. I'm sure you feel the same way. You're not a malicious person. You want people to be okay and happy in life. Find that peace. Do something with their lives,
Yeah, I mean, even people that I like, that know I don't really affiliate myself with them, or I don't like, when they like message me and I just like look at it, like, it's not that like I hate them. It's just like, you've shown me your part and like what I'm trying to do. And it's not anything that I need, like, in my capacity. You could like grow and build, but like there are other people who are better fit that I could like give that time and attention to.
Yeah.
That actually want to see things grow and progress, not only for like me, but for themselves as well. It's like a mutually beneficial thing.
Yeah.
Where you came in and you're like, I want everything that you've got, and I want this and that and that, and I don't care about you. So it's like, why should I care to pay attention to whatever you have to say at this point?
Yeah, it's not that I don't like you or I'm mad at you. I just have to move on.
Yeah.
Time is gone, and I hope you're well, but I have to move forward. There's nothing personal.
It's that breakup talk again.
Oh God, it's the worst. I'm not a fan of that. It's bad to be on either side of that one, no matter who you are. I have been way more on the side of being broken up with. That is a fact. How about you?
Probably it's same, I think.
You've been broken up with way more.
I'm probably saying same, but it's probably wrong. That's probably wrong.
The fact that you have to think about and count is kind of funny.
I like dating. Oh.
You like dating?
I like dating. I just don't like the experience that I get all the time.
What do you mean by dating? You like dating? You like the idea?
I like relationships.
But you say a plural, as if like you don't want to just be in one forever.
I could be monogamous.
No, I mean like just pick one person, get married, and like that's it.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
That'd be dope.
It doesn't work that way.
Why doesn't it work that way?
I got stabbed in the eye.
Oh God!
One died.
Oh
Other
God,
one was
Jesus.
gay.
Oh God!
Cheating. Not me.
So my experiences are not quite like that, but they've all been quite bad and did not end well, or very unfortunate situations, very sad situations, and not stabbed in the eye, not death, but very traumatic and very awful. And I see people who will have like 1 or 2 relationships and it's fine, and then they have like a great relationship and they get married. I'm like, how's that? Why is it for some people like yourself or myself so bad and so traumatic, and then nothing's ever? So it always ends so terribly. Like, what is going on? And why do they have to get to have like this great relationship where they get to be together and nothing's wrong? They don't got to go through any terrible drama. I'm like, man, I'm envious sometimes of that.
Yeah, I think that and a big thing that like I'm trying to learn is like, I mean, I had to learn this. It's taking me a lot of time. I'm way better at it now. But yeah, just don't carry old baggage into a new relationship. I mean, this is like pretty simple, but like every experience is a new one. And like you have to like get to know this person and grow with them. Also, don't carry ideas from that relationship into a new one. You have to figure out what works between you two.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like I left like a relationship that was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get married. Like that's what we're gonna do. To being like, I'm dating, and then it's like, okay, we're dating, and then we're in a relationship now. So I guess the goal is to get married. So I have to work towards that. So I started treating things like, okay, to get married, to even get comfortable with this person in that way, I have to like do these things. But I didn't even have that discussion with this person. I just naturally was like, oh, okay, this is where it's going. Instead of just enjoying the fact that I was in that relationship and then growing. That was years ago, but like over time, like I just learned like, have discussions, talk about it, and then see where they're at in life. After like a month, just be like, how do you feel about things? Mm-hmm. It's a weird question to ask, but just be like, how do you feel about things? What do you think about our dynamic, or like where we're going, or like all that stuff? And like, it's once again, it's a weird question to ask, but like when somebody's just like, sometimes they don't even think about it, because like once you go into a relationship, they're like, oh, I'm good. Or they'll be like, I'll think about it. Like, I think things are good. Some people are like, like, do you like, okay, or are you like, or how do you feel about things? Like, because they're thinking you're like, this is the breakup talk, and it's like, no, I'm just checking in.
Yeah, communication.
Yeah,
communication is very important, and not lying. Honesty is good as it is, and as brutal as it can be. It is the most important thing, even when it hurts. I'd rather have that than someone lie to me about it, especially someone you care about. Just be honest. Rip off the Band-Aid. Be kind about how you deliver the information, but be honest. I think it's hard. It takes a lot of discipline and honesty with yourself to be open with your partner and tell them what's really going on, what you really feel, what you really want. It sucks. It could suck a lot, but it's better than lying and cheating and robbing someone of their time and emotions,
I work in like ultimates. I think when it comes down to that, I always tell myself like, I have to be honest with this person, because you have to like treat them like your other half regardless. Like, this is like the easiest way for me to simplify it in my head, because this person has decided to align themselves with you. So like, it's going to be a lot easier if you're just like, if they understand more of you and able to put their end, like their perception of it, to like make it make sense, rather than just be like just telling them what they want to hear, trying to twist things to be like, okay, this is what I know they like to hear, so I'm gonna like make it sound like this.
Yeah.
And then yeah, when they learn like the extra tidbit of information or uncover like everything around it, it's like you didn't tell me this, and it's like you lied. You told the truth, but you didn't tell everything. There's like all types of things. Just there's no shortcuts in love. It's like you just gotta do. You just gotta like put everything out there and be the best. Like be you fully, because you can't give half of yourself to somebody.
No, you got to be all there. When you're not, it doesn't work. It's a very difficult and sad experience being in that situation, but it happens. And the best you can do from that is learn the person on the other end of it. Learn that you don't want to be that person. You do want to be with someone who's all in. And the person who can't get all in learns like, oh, I shouldn't be in a relationship unless I can be all that, like all the way in. So you can both learn from it, no matter how sad it is. I'm trying to find a good way to segue to an ending, which has been really dark and sad. Holding back some tears here. Let's go into maybe promote anything you want to promote right now before we end. I think it's been 2 hours, by the way.
Yeah, I've got shows coming up. I got a show in PA coming up. I have Vibe Night, which is my showcase at the Grog Shop, which is like a big venue in Cleveland. It's like a mixture of like comedy and hip hop. So I'll be hosting this event, and have a special guest, Chanel Kazadi. She's really dope. Really enjoy hanging out with her. I'm taking her out with me to PA to play that show, and it's our first time we get to like ride 4-wheelers and stuff around. So that'll be a fun one. And then I'm working on this like really new sounding project right now that I'm excited for. Also, I'm getting like more into clothing. So next year it's going to be hopefully like another drink, some food, and like clothes are like my main things, with like a project rather than like my thousands of songs that come out every year.
Thousands of songs every year?
Not thousands.
I was going to say, no way.
There's like, I release around like 20 to 30 tracks a year.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
And it's been like every time like somebody like interviews and like looks at my like discography, they're like, you have a lot of music. I'm like, yeah, I like making music.
Yeah.
I make music every day.
It's awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah, like obviously like when I'm like doing stuff like this, I'm obviously not making anything. I'm writing, but I'm not like recording and stuff like that. I usually do demos, and then I'll like put something together, and then when it's time for me to like sit down for a project like I'm doing now, I have space. So I'm like, okay, sit on that, make the demo, record the idea, delete some stuff, put some stuff in, rewrite, and then get the idea. And then if I want to add in like horns. Oh, I met Soul Food Horns. Like I met the 2 people I work with in Soul Food Horns the most while I was out here too. So that was nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was our first time meeting.
I hope that this podcast inspires a song. This conversation, rather. Well, thank you, Eliy, for being here, for talking to me, for your honesty and sharing some stories. I know some of them were very hard, so I appreciate it. And it helped me be a better person, so thank you. And I think people who hear it will be better for hearing it too.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You take care. Have fun on the rest of your tour. Keep up with the beer and the shirts and the songs and the fashion and everything. Keep it up. Yeah. All right, man. Take care.